Hey there, Anthem. Welcome to chapel. We're here again. We're going to sing together. And today we're going to learn a new song. This song is called How Great a King. And if you've heard it, then awesome. Sing along with us. If you haven't, then just listen. It's a song that we're going to be singing this year in our chapel times. And it's really about just how amazing our King is, that he would come down, give his life, the God of this universe, that he would give everything for us. So let's sing together. You reached down from the sky, leaving heaven's throne. I was meant to die, you wouldn't let me go. The riches of your grace I could not afford. My guilt has been erased, now I'm forever yours. Oh, what a price you paid, trading the highest place. You laid down your life for me. How great a King!
From death life has begun, a garden from the grave, bursting through the night. Yours is the victory.
From death life has begun, a garden from the grave, bursting through the night. Yours is the victory. Oh, what a price you paid, trading the highest place. You laid down your crown for me. How great a King! Oh, what a life you gave. You gave up everything, that you would die for me. Oh, how great a King! For all you are and all you've done, we lift you up, we lift you up. For all you are and all you've done, we lift you up, lift you up. For all you are and all you've done, we lift you up, lift you up. For all you are and all you've done, we lift you up, lift you up. Oh, what a price you paid, trading the highest place. You laid down your crown for me. Oh, how great a King! Oh, what a life you gave. You gave up everything, that you would die for me. How great a King! For all you are and all you've done, we lift you up, lift you up. For all you are and all you've done, we lift you up, we lift you up. For all you are and all you've done, we lift you up, lift you up. For all you are and all you've done, we lift you up, lift you up. I want to talk today about the idea of running a race. And in the New Testament, in the Bible, we find several times it's mentioned about running the race of faith and persevering until the end. So we're going to talk about that as we start this race of our school year. We're at the very beginning, right? We just left the finish line, or the start line last week, and we have a long way to go until the finish line. So we're going to talk about that. First, I want to tell you a story. Last Sunday, a little over a week ago, I was helping to lead worship at a church out in Monterey. And if you remember, last Saturday night, we had these massive thunder and lightning storms. It woke me up in the middle of the night. I don't know if it woke you up. It was kind of scary. But Sunday morning, I had to get up early and I had to drive towards Monterey. And I'm driving on Highway 68, and out in the hills, I see this little tiny wisp of smoke. Nothing huge, but it was just little bits of smoke coming up into the sky. And because there had been lightning the night before, I assumed, hey, the lightning must have struck and it started a little brush fire out there. And so I went on and I spent my morning out in Monterey. And as I was driving back in the early afternoon, to my surprise, that tiny wisp of smoke had turned into this massive column of smoke. And it had grown very, very fast. It grew into this thing that was not just a little brush fire anymore. Little did I know, a week later, here we are, and even that column of smoke is small compared to what it's turned into. It's burned acres, thousands and thousands and thousands of acres in our county, and it's taken over 1,000 people working hard to get that under control, and it's still not fully under control. So something small turned into something very big. And so I want us to hold on to that concept. We'll come back to that in a minute here. But first, I want to read a couple verses out of Hebrews. Chapter 12, verses 1 and 2 say, "Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith." There's a few things here when we look at what this verse is saying. First part is, let's throw off all the stuff that entangles us. Let's throw off all the sin that kind of bogs us down in our everyday lives. Because we have to run with perseverance. We have to keep at it because, as you know, we're messed up people, you and me, right? And so sin will entangle us, but we got to get up and we got to keep going. We have to persevere to finish this race of faith, this race of life. And finally, the whole time we have to fix our eyes on Jesus. He is the one who gets us through every day, every season, every year, no matter how crazy it is. So we have to fix our eyes on Him. And, you know, these, in the New Testament, there are spiritual truths that they talk about that apply to our faith, our lives of faith and our relationship with God. But they don't just apply to this thing that we can't necessarily see, like faith. You can't really put a picture on that, right? You can't envision that. These stories and these truths, they are actually, they affect our physical life, our everyday life, just as much as they affect the spiritual part. And so I want to talk about that, this idea of running a race, persevering until the end. We go back to that story about the fires, and this tiny little wisp of smoke turned into this massive thing that's had great impact for the bad on our county. The same is true with your life, with my life. As we run this race, the steps that we take, whether we choose to take a good step or a bad step, ultimately it can seem small. It's just one step. It's just one thing. It's not a big deal. But they can turn into these massive things down the road. It can lead to horrible consequences down the road, and it can lead to amazing consequences down the road. one step doesn't seem like a lot. One choice, whether good or bad, doesn't seem like crazy. This is like going to affect my whole life, and this little tiny thing is just going to be this dramatic thing in my life. It doesn't feel like that most of the time. But if we take one small step for good after another small step after another small step, down the road we see that amazing things have flourished in our lives. The same is true for the opposite. If we take one bad step and say, okay, I got away with that, not a big deal. One more bad step and bad choice. It might not seem huge in the moment, but down the road it ends up like this fire, right? It ends up just eating up everything. And it's not good to take those small steps because it leads to something big and bad down the road. So I want you to think about that as we run this race with perseverance this year, this school year. We just left the starting line last week. We are barely into this race. The finish line is a long way off. So you are going to have a lot of small steps, a lot of small choices to make as we go into this school year. And here at Anthem, we talk about these things as kind of our mottos that we hold on to, right? Respect, obedience, safety, and responsibility. Now, these four things are all good things that we want to all practice in our lives because it makes us better people. It's going to ultimately lead to better things in each of our lives if we follow these. If we take small steps in respecting your fellow classmate, whether you're on Zoom and you decide not to interrupt whoever's talking, or whether you're here at the Anthem Learning Camp and you decide to respect your neighbor by, again, not talking while they're talking, giving them their chance. When we think about obedience, if you're at home and your parents ask you to turn the TV off, turn your video games off, are you going to listen the first time? Are you going to obey the first time? Little things, right? It doesn't seem like a big deal, but over time, when you obey, you're obedient, it can lead to more trust from your parents because they can trust you that when they ask you to do something, you actually do it. Safety. We all need to be safe in these times, right? When we go out, we wear a mask. When we are here at the Anthem camp, we have these certain rules to keep us all safe. Now with these fires, I mean, they've had to evacuate people. Some of you here at Anthem have had to evacuate because of safety. And we listen to those authorities and we take steps so that we can be safe in the end. Responsibility. You all have schoolwork every day. Some of you have homework. Are you going to be responsible and finish that little bit of homework that you have left before you go out and skateboard or whatever it is that you're going to do? We have to be responsible. Be responsible with your schoolwork. It is different this year as we learn online and we have this learning camp here, so the homework situation looks a little bit different, but be responsible with your work because it will lead to better grades and happier teachers, happier parents, happier everybody if we all try to be a little more responsible. So as I end this, I just want to leave you with the idea that we need to run our race well as we finish this school year, or as we start this school year. It's going to take a long time to finish, but we need to run our race well. And how we do that is one step at a time. Each of those steps is going to be a step in a good direction, or it's going to be a step perhaps in a bad direction. So as you're faced with little moments and little steps each day, let's pause, let's fix our eyes on Jesus, let's remember our Anthem rules, responsibility, respect, and let's make the good choice because God wants us to finish our race well. He wants us to have the best life that we can possibly have. And from my experience, that only happens when we go and choose His path, when we go and choose the steps that He has laid out for us, that He recommends in the Bible. So, run your race well, make some good decisions today, because the little steps will lead to big, big, great things. All right. Have a great day, have a great week, and we will see you very soon.